Hi everybody, today we're going to look at a very cool 1/24 scale die-cast Motor Max 1969 Dodge Coronet Super B in red. This is in the Motor Max Timeless Legends product line, not to be confused with the Forgotten Classics product line, which I'm a big fan of. This is a really cool looking car, and it's a really cool looking car in real life. And you know what? This is a first because I don't have a story associated with this vehicle. I've seen them at car shows, I've seen them on the road, I've seen them in various colors, but I don't know if I've ever known someone who's had one of these, and I certainly have not had one of these myself. Like all of the Motor Max vehicles we have looked at so far, the doors open, there's a lot of detail on the trim exterior as well as inside, and the hood opens. And like the Motor Max cars we have looked at in the past, sadly the trunk does not open. Why would you make a hood that opens and not a trunk? Something very cool about this vehicle, the one we're looking at here, not in real life. Well, maybe in real life too. This has some very cool chrome mag Craigers on it. These were the rims. Back in the day, everybody had to get the mags. You had to get the Craigers. The Dodge Super V was a mid-sized muscle car. They made them between 1968 and 1971. Now, later on in the 2000s, they named some other things Super Bs. That is not what this is. At first glance, these will look fairly similar to the Plymouth Roadrunner. And though the Roadrunner was a lot cooler looking than these are still pretty cool. These were marketed as a low-priced muscle car. And back in the day, you could get these with a Hemi engine. So got a Hemi in it? Except that increased the price by about a third. So if you didn't want to go for the 383 Magnum engine, you could go for the 426 Hemi. And why would you go for that 426? Well, if the Magnum's going to give you about 340 horsepower, that 426 Hemi is going to be rated at 430, 440 horse from the factory. And that's before you put the nitrous injection in it or anything else you're going to do to soup it up. These were very distinctive looking cars, and that twin scooped air induction hood is very distinctive. And yes, does look a little bit like the Plymouth Roadrunner's Coyote Duster. Eventually you could pick these up with a 6-pack and a 440 engine, and that's kind of what I remember these having, was the 440 cubic inch engine, which was still pretty good at almost 400 horse from the factory. And you've heard me say a bunch of times I'm more of a Camaro guy than a Mustang guy, but really, I'm a Mopar guy. Mopar means more power. But truly, given my choice of any of them, I was a Plymouth guy. Alright, what do you think? Cool car or not cool car? Did you ever have one of these? Have you ever seen one of these? Do you have the car in die-cast model instead of in real life? The one thing I've learned is when you go back to these older muscle cars in real life, and though something like this would be fast as hell, when it comes to traction and stability and cornering, my Nissan Rogue will just beat it every time. You got computers in cars now doing all kind of cool things. The era of muscle cars were big, heavy, solid steel cars with just a lot of horsepower under the hood to move those big, heavy lumps of metal. And even if you got the beefed up fancy suspension, they just don't handle like a modern car. So every once in a while when I reminisce, man, I should get an old Mercury Meteor, or Plymouth Valiant, or a Duster, or even an Oldsmobile Cutlass. You know, you go to the old cars, old things I used to own, wish I still had, until you get behind the wheel of them and you say, oh man, this is horrible. Alright, what do you think? You're a fan of the old muscle cars? Because if you are, Motor Max makes some very cool, highly detailed, smaller die-cast versions of all your favorites, or most of your favorites, or some of your favorites. Alright, leave your comments in the comment section. As always, thanks for watching.
Beanmeister 22, the most dangerous man on YouTube.